Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a hidden strategy, the one that makes our digital world feel like it was built just for us. It shapes almost everything we see online, and you might not even realize it's happening. So, have you ever noticed this? You're scrolling through your phone and seeing ads for, I don't know, the latest video game or a very specific new brand of coffee. Meanwhile, your parents are getting ads for cruises or gardening supplies. That is not an accident. No, it's a very, very deliberate strategy at play, and today we're going to break down exactly how it works. You see, a long time ago, marketing was basically like shouting into a crowd and hoping for the best. It was this one-size-fits-all approach called mass marketing. And, it was kind of inefficient, a huge waste of money. The way things are done now is the total opposite. It's about crafting the perfect message just for you. It's way more efficient, and honestly, it gets much better results. And that brings us to our first big idea, which is pretty simple. One size really doesn't fit all. To solve that exact problem, companies use a powerful strategy called market segmentation. So what is it? Well, here's the official definition. Market segmentation is all about taking a huge, broad market, like everyone who buys shoes, and slicing it up into smaller, much more manageable groups. The people inside each of those little groups all have something in common, maybe similar needs or tastes or habits. And that lets companies talk to them in a way that's actually relevant. This is the absolute bedrock of modern marketing. And trust me, once you know to look for it, you start seeing segmentation everywhere. It's why there are diet and zero sugar versions of your favorite soft drink. It's why you see certain commercials during the day. They're aiming for retired folks who are watching TV then. It's even behind where items are placed in a supermarket, or why students get a discount on train tickets, but only at certain times. It's all around us. Okay, so if segmentation is about creating these groups, how do companies actually do it? Well, it turns out there are 4 main ways to slice up that pie. First step is the one you're probably most familiar with, even if you don't know the name for it. It's demographic segmentation. And this is all about the who. Demographics are those basic, straightforward facts about a person: their age, gender, income, what they do for a living. This stuff is usually the easiest data for companies to get their hands on, so it's a super common starting point. Think about it. An insurance company is going to use a completely different sales pitch for a 25-year-old than for a 65-year-old. Their needs, their priorities, they're just on different planets. Next up, we've got geographic segmentation. And this one is pretty much what it sounds like. It's all about the where. Right, so this is about grouping people based on where they live. Country, region, even as specific as whether they're in a big city or a rural town. This is so important because location affects everything: culture, language, and even the weather. I mean, you're not going to try to sell a heavy winter parka to someone living in Florida, right? That's geographic segmentation at its most basic. Okay, now we're going to go a layer deeper. This is where it gets really interesting. The third type is psychographic segmentation, and this one is all about the why. This is the really clever stuff. This isn't just about who you are, but how you think. It's about grouping people by their lifestyle, their social status, their personality, and their core values. It tries to understand what actually motivates someone. And when you combine this why with the demographic who, you get a much richer, more complete picture of who you're talking to. And that brings us to our fourth and final type, behavioral segmentation. This one is all about the how. So behavioral segmentation doesn't care as much about who you are or what you think. It cares about what you do. It tracks your observable actions. Are you super loyal to one brand? Do you only buy things when they're on sale? How often do you use a service? This also includes things like your online shopping habits. By looking at these patterns, companies get a really clear idea of how you actually interact with them. Okay, so companies go to all this trouble. They slice and dice and analyze everyone. So why? What's the real payoff for all of this intense focus? Let's take a look. Well, it creates this incredibly powerful chain reaction. It all starts when a company decides to focus on just one specific group. That focus allows them to target their message so it really hits home. And when the message is targeted, they can actually satisfy that group's specific needs. The end result? Customers are happier, they stick around longer, and the company gets a way better return on its investment. It just works. Let me give you a perfect real-world example. Think about a single model of car. To sell it to one group of people, the marketing message might be all about performance and speed, right? This is for the driving enthusiasts, the people who love the thrill of it. But check this out. For the exact same car, they can turn around and talk to a completely different group. And for them, the message is all about reliability and safety and maybe a really beautiful design. See? Same car, totally different story because they're talking to different people with different needs. That's targeted communication in a nutshell. So, to wrap up the why, here are the core benefits. First, companies get way more competitive because they can become the absolute experts in their little niche. They also get much better marketing efficiency. They stop wasting money shouting at people who just aren't interested. This leads to stronger customer retention, because when you feel understood, you stick around. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it leads to customers whose needs are actually being met with products and deals they really want. So let's bring all of this home now. This isn't some abstract theory from a business textbook. It directly impacts you every single day. And this is really the big takeaway. That feeling you get when your social media feed or your streaming recommendations just get you, that's market segmentation. It is the invisible engine that makes our digital world feel so personal. It's not magic. It's not a coincidence. It's a strategy. Which leads me to one last thought for you. Now that you know the secret, the 4 ways you can be grouped, demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral, just think about it for a minute. Based on your age, where you live, what you care about, and the things you buy, what segments do you think you're in? It's kind of a fascinating new lens to see your world through. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.